Check this out, man. Come on. Look, we playing some Whiskey Myers. We got a Whiskey Myers autographed guitar. We're going to tell you what's going on with this here in a minute. That's my best air guitar. Y'all don't want me to play it. It'll be like. I'm going to stop that right now. That is an autograph. Whiskey Myers guitar right there. It's a real guitar. If you knew how to play it, you could actually play it. Tell you what's going on with that. Hey, that guitar is going to help possibly save a veteran's life. We got the big event coming up next week, man. We're like a week away from our big event. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to give you the top baits for Lake Fork bass fishing for this weekend. We've been catching some giant bass out of Lake Fork. We're going to talk to you about how we're doing that. Give you guys a shot to do that yourself this weekend. And just talk about all things good with Lake Fork bass fishing. It's going to be a fun one tonight, folks. Hell, I almost forgot the damn solo cup. Cheers, y'all. Let's get it. Yeah. That's right. Fade that on down a little bit. My boy Cody Cannon and the rest of the bunch from Whiskey Myers coming in strong tonight and coming in clutch with the autographed guitar. That is going to be one of the auction items. Folks, we are going to get to the top baits and set you guys up for success this weekend at Lake Fork. Before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about our event that we have coming up next weekend. Near and dear to my heart. Very, very, very important to me that this event goes off successfully, just like it has over the last couple of years. This is the third one in a row. The first two have been a huge success thanks to you guys. Y'all are the ones that makes it or breaks it, and y'all have definitely made it and then some the first 2 years. So I'm going to lean on y'all once again. 4th of July weekend, man. Great opportunity to come out, hang out with your friends, hang out with your family, bring everybody out. We have an absolute blast. This is like no other bass fishing tournament that I have ever been a part of. I've been to a lot of different bass fishing tournaments, a lot of different charity events, a lot of different this, that, and the other. I've never been to one that has an atmosphere quite like this one. So for those of you that do know, please bear with me as I walk you through this. For those of you that don't know, let me explain to you what goes on. So every year on 4th of July weekend, this will be the third year, and we plan on doing it for a long time. We have the Your Lake Fork Guide Fish Life Brouhaha get together fishing tournament party, man, and it's something else to behold. Now, the whole purpose behind this, I got asked to host a tournament, like a Your Lake Fork Guide Nation tournament or whatever, several years back, and I always said that if I did one, it would benefit, it'd be a charity tournament, it would benefit a military-oriented nonprofit organization. Fast forward, here we are now doing it for the third year in a row, and the organization that we've chosen to work with is known as One Tribe Foundation. Used to be known as 22 Kill. 22 Kill is now a part of One Tribe Foundation. But what that organization does is basically they use all the money they raise, and they put every dollar right back into helping reach out and basically address mental health needs for veterans and first responders. Now, me, myself, being a veteran, I have a little bit of a unique perspective on the needs of the veteran community. I can tell you that, yes, we have physical ailments. Sometimes, yes, we have monetary issues, getting jobs, transitioning out, things like that. You know, families that are left behind by fallen soldiers, troops. That's a difficult situation in and of itself, but there's a lot of programs to help those people out. The thing that doesn't get addressed, and the thing that to me costs more lives than anything else that I see, and ruins lives, even if you don't die from it, it ruins lives more than anything else for veterans that I see, is mental health issues. And I don't mean like they're just crazy killing machines and they're just like crazy people and they can't settle into society. I mean, there's some aspects of that in some extreme cases, but for the most part, it's about not being able to fit in, not being able to accept, and not being able to function in society outside of military life. There's also the aspect of not being able to, achieve a place where you're mentally at peace from some of the things that you've gone through and seen and done throughout your experience. And first responders experience much of the same situation. Um, Everybody that I know that was in the military, it completely changed their minds, how their minds function. I said this a few weeks ago, I'll say it again. You're never yourself again once you go through even just the initial training phase. The way your mind works, the way you view things, the way you view other people in the world, the way you view everything in the world never is the same as it was before you went in. It will always be different. You will never fully be yourself again. That is a difficult thing to continue to process over the years and continue to deal with over the years. The further you get removed from your military experience, almost seems like the harder it gets to come to terms with that. And the more you try to become your old self, but you really can't. You really can't. There's always that part of you that is gonna, like, there's part of me that will always be a United States Marine. There's part of me that will always be looking for the next fight. I'll always be looking for the next bad guy to attack. Like, that's the way my mind is trained to work, is to find an enemy and to close with and destroy that enemy. I need help and I need guidance in making sure that I'm selecting the correct enemies in my life. There are healthy ways to do that. You can function like that, and you can be extremely successful like that. But when you start picking the wrong enemies, you're just mad at everybody. You're mad at the wrong people. You're mad at the wrong things in your life, and it can cause you great anguish, because this is what your mind tells you need to do, and yet everybody's telling you what you're doing is wrong, and the way that you're doing it is wrong. There's a lot that we can sit here and talk about that I'm not very good at articulating. I'm not the best at explaining things. And these are very difficult things to articulate. But what I can tell you is that if you love this country and you love the veterans and first responders of this great nation, which I do deeply, if you feel the same way, then One Tribe Foundation and 22 Kill is a phenomenal organization to donate to support, to just give them your verbal support, follow them on social media, give them positive reinforcement comments, do whatever you can to support that organization, because they do more than any other organization I've ever seen, heard of, or had any idea that existed for the mental health aspects of veterans and first responders, which is where I personally feel like, from my personal experience, that it is the most needed. It's the most needed. And of course, there's a lot of other more extreme situations out there, but every veteran, like I said, every veteran that I know goes through some mental health anguish of some kind, myself included, still to this day. So it's an important deal. So this tournament that we have, let's talk about the fun part about this event. This tournament that we have, it's a 3-day party, man. It's so, as hard as that topic is to discuss, this tournament is a celebration. It's a celebration of bass fishing. It's a celebration of all you guys as followers of your Lake Fork Guide. It's an appreciation for you guys. We put this tournament on to have a great time with y'all, and then while we're doing it, we're going to raise money for a great cause. But it is an absolute party. Friday night is how it starts. Friday evening, 6 p.m. is when registration opens, and we also kick it off with one of our little seminars, and we kind of do a quicker one on this deal at registration, do a little quicker seminar. And then right behind that, we have a concert that goes till 9:30, just however late we need to keep going to get everybody registered and make sure everybody has as much fun as they need to have that night. Man, we have an absolute ball. There'll be families there. There'll be veterans everywhere. Volunteers from One Tribe Foundation will be there. There's just a great crowd of people that show up to this. You'll see kids out there dancing to the concert, adults out there, couples dancing to the concert, people talking, having a good time. I mean, it is as much fun as you could ever. I've never seen any bass fishing tournament that has quite the registration party that this one has. I'm so proud that I'm a part of this event because of what it's turned into. We'll do some auction items during that. So there'll be some really cool, like this guitar right here that you guys see, Whiskey Myers guitar with signatures on it from the entire Whiskey Myers band. Will go up for auction. We'll do some of those auction items that night. Saturday, we'll have an open team tournament. Now, this is Friday, July 1st. It starts at 6 p.m. Registration does. Saturday, July 2nd, we're going to have an open team tournament that anybody can fish. If any of my fellow Lake Fork guys are watching, you guys are welcome to fish this as well. It's open to anybody. Anybody can fish Saturday, July 2nd. It's a team event. You can fish individually if you'd like to. It's a 5-fish stringer tournament. Regulations do apply. You got to abide by the slot. You know, you can keep 5 under 16 inches or 4 under 16 inches and 1 over 24. We'll have rules when you register. We'll give them to you. So that's how that goes. And what that deal is you pay an entry fee for that. It's a $100 entry for the tournament, $20 for big bass for your team. It's 70% payout. So you guys do have a chance to win some money in this deal. It's not huge money, but you guys chance to win some money, 70% payout. And then 30% of the registration goes directly to the organization. The auction items, 100% of the revenue goes to the organization. Then after Saturday's weigh-in, we do something a little unique. On Sunday, we have a guides / Your Lake Fork Guide celebrity tournament. So myself, I'll be in that tournament. We've got several other guides from Lake Fork. David Ozio, of course, Cody Mays, Aaron Von Russenberg is going to be in it this year. Some other guys that I'm not remembering all the names of. We've got a couple of surprises I'm going to announce. I need to confirm, make sure everybody's cleared their schedule that can be here. I know Chase Brooks has confirmed with me this week he'll be here. Chase Brooks is a former FLW Tour guy that lives out on OHIV. He's coming in to be one of the guys in the Sunday tournament. Now, the deal is you can buy us as your partner. So you can get Chase Brooks, who used to be on the FLW Tour, as your partner. You can get me as your partner. You can get Cody Mays as your partner. There might even be a little honey hole action showing up at this event, so we'll see about that. He may be able to be your partner too, but you have to buy your partner. And all the money that you spend on your teammate for Sunday goes, 100% of that goes straight to the organization, to the charity as well. So, you know, we make no money off this. This is not a money maker for your Lake Fork Guide or anybody involved in this event in any way. All the revenue raised goes back to One Tribe Foundation and 22 Kill, with the exception of the 70% of the open team tournament entry fees that goes back to you guys that are fishing that. So it's a 3-day party, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. We take over Lake Fork Marina's whole facility pretty much for the weekend, and it's 4th of July, and what better way to celebrate this country's independence than by showing up and showing out and making sure all the veterans and first responders of this nation know that we love them and we want to take care of them. We want to make sure they're good for life. So that's what we do, man. That's our event. I'm not going to keep harping on it. No further ado, let's get into some top bass fishing baits. Cheers, you guys. Cheers. Let's get into some top bass fishing baits. The top baits for me this week are going to be as simple and quick and easy as they ever have been. Do me a favor while you're in here. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoy our live streams that we do every week. Also, if you could, drop me a comment. Let me know who we're talking to. If you have questions, ask them. I will get to them as soon as I'm done with the baits. And please, please share this thing. If you know how to share it, I don't. I know y'all are smarter than me, though. If you guys can share it, man, I sure would appreciate it. It's a couple baits that I've been sticking to, man. And I'm going to tell you guys what's going on with me is first thing in the morning, I can catch them. Catch them first thing in the morning. Now, I'm talking about I'm offshore first thing in the morning. I know I still see some guys out there fishing up shallow on the main lake, shallow point, stuff like that, and I'm sure they're catching a few fish. But we are catching big ones and numbers most mornings. Not every day is not a great day. Every day is not a great day. There's a lot of guides who are posting pictures all over Facebook right now that are trying to book empty days in July. Not every day is a great day. Not every morning's a great morning. Most mornings, though, it's pretty solid. I mean, it's been pretty good for the most part. But that's going well first few hours of the day. Then it slows down, and by the time you get to about 11 o'clock, maybe even 10:30 some days, man, it's pretty much forget it. Like, it's hard to get a single bite. Unless you're going to go super finesse and go do something like that, it is hard to get even a bite on the bigger baits that we've been throwing, the typical baits we've been throwing offshore. From what I'm hearing from other guys, if you go back out in the evening for the last 4 hours of the evening, same thing, you can catch them real good. But that middle of the day period has gotten flat tough, okay? So that's kind of what's been going on. The main bait, which is ironic because, I started catching a few on it a week or two ago, and I went and filmed the video on this, and we aired it Monday. You guys saw it. A lot of y'all saw it. A lot of y'all watched it. Thank you for that. But the old biffle head, swing head, with a little crawbait on it. It's funny because after we filmed that video, this bait took over in my boat and has become the main fish catcher. This is my #1 fish catching bait in my boat, is this right here. We've had 3 out of the last 4 days, we've had fish over 8 pounds. Most of our bites, I mean like probably 85% of our bites are coming on that rig right there. That is a brown colored crawbait and a swing head, just, you know, the pivoting biffle head, wobble head, whatever you want to call them. Throwing that in 3/4 ounce, throwing it on 20-pound fluorocarbon line, and throwing it on a 7.4, 7.6 heavy action rod. And my dragging hard bottoms are adding in suspenders on timber. Man, I'm dragging hard bottoms. I'm looking for fish relating closely to the bottom. And the way I'm fishing that wobble head right there is just a fast drag, man. I throw it out there and just bounce it along the bottom, reel in my slack, just bounce it, just kind of making it shake and shimmy as it scoots across the bottom there, is how I'm fishing that. And I will tell you, a lot of the bites I'm getting, there's times when they eat it real good and it's real obvious. I mean, they hit it, pow, and they knock slack in your line. And as soon as you catch up to your slack, they're moving with it. They got it, you swing on them, you got them. Then there's quite a few bites where they're biting it and they're just like tick, and they don't have it. Like I've had so many guys the last week or two feel tick, and then they reel down and swing and there's nothing there. What I'm telling everybody in my boat is to double check them, like check them up, check on them a little bit now. You feel that tick, just keep on slowly picking up that slack and feel for them. If you don't feel nothing there, just keep on dragging, because a lot of times if you'll keep dragging, they'll come back and eat it and you actually get it. But if they just go tick and then you swing on them, that fish is gone. He's done. You ain't got no chance to catch him. So some of them are kind of just pecking at it a little bit at times, and then if you'll give them time, they'll come back and eat the bait sometimes. Usually those fish are smaller fish. The bigger fish, when they decide to eat it, they're just comparing, knocking slack in your line. The other bait that we're fishing is the old big jig, offshore jig fishing. Y'all know we love that out of Lake Fork. Y'all know that I love fishing a jig anytime. And the color I'm throwing is just a green and brown. Y'all can kind of see it there, green and brown color, with that same crawl bait as my trailer. Full skirt, full crawl, big profile jig. Pretty big profile there. 3/4 ounce jig as well. Same size jig as it is on the wobble head. Now, the deal on this bait is we're fishing it slow. Like molasses slow. Like the slower you can fish it, kind of the better on that jig has been the key for me to get bites on it. So not near as many bites on the jig, but as usual with the jig, the bites you get are big ones. So lots of fun at Lake Fork. We're catching lots of big fish, lots of big bags of fish. Every day is not a home run, but most days are pretty good, and some days are home runs for sure. There's quite a few days that are like, yesterday our first spot we pulled up on, we had somewhere between 10 and 15 bass on the very first starting spot, and we were in the mid-20s on our weight as far as best 5 goes. And like I said, 3 out of the last 4 days we've caught 8-pounder, so it's been good. It's been good. The picture in the thumbnail of tonight's video is one of those. I think that was from Monday. That boy, so the story behind the thumbnail is a 16-year-old kid that didn't get out on the boat hardly ever, pond fish, caught some, I don't think he'd ever caught anything over maybe 3 or 4 pounds. Well, he broke his personal best like 3 or 4 times that day. And that 8-pounder is right at 8 pounds, I think that one was. That was the biggest fish of the day for him. That kid who'd never caught anything over about 3 pounds out of a pond, on his own, not counting anything I caught, not counting anything his dad caught, on his own had like 27, 28 pounds on his best 5. He's never caught anything over 3 pounds. So we've had some fun moments out there here lately. It's been good. It's been good. What size line do I use on 10-inch worm? 20-pound fluorocarbon, which is what I'm using on both of those rigs. Same rod, 7.5 foot heavy, same type of rods. Phil Clark says, what's up, Billy? Hope to come out Friday night. Family obligation Saturday, but hopefully next year. Hey, appreciate that and understand that. That happens. I will tell you, even if you can't fish the tournament, you can't buy an auction item, come out and support the cause. When our event goes off Friday, July 1st, come out and hang out with us, man. Come out, have a good time, relax, cut up, swap stories, whatever it is. Just come out and support the cause. We would love to see each and every one of you guys there. About to sneeze. About to sneeze. Must need a drink. Cheers, y'all. You boys kind of tired, man. Them 6 o'clock starts been getting to me. Hey, that's in line. I got to wake up at 4 to get the boat loaded and go by the gas station and get to the ramp on time because I live about 35 minutes from the boat ramp. So, got to get up at 4. That means I got to get up in like 6 hours and something. Been doing that for too many days in a row. Just got to Lake Fork today. Going to be here for a whole week. Any suggestions for it being our first time? Number one, be careful navigating the lake, man. It can be dangerous if you don't know how to navigate it when the lake's low like it is now. That's number one. Number two is I would highly suggest the Fish Life app. And I know that's just a sales plug, but it's the honest to goodness best advice I can give you. We have an app called Fish Life, L-Y-F-E, is how the life is spelled with a Y. But Fish Life app, Lake Fork Premium Package, you'll get 20 spots on the lake that are some of the best spots. Like these fish I'm catching, they're all on the app. The spots I'm catching them are on the app. Can you still get bit on big cranks? Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing a couple guys catching a couple fish here and there on big crankbaits. I'm not the most adamant thrower of a big deep diving crankbait. I mean, I do like to throw it. I probably would throw it a lot more if I wasn't guiding, if I was fishing for myself. But no, I'm not really throwing it very much. And even the guys that love to throw it, they're not catching a lot of them on it from what I understand. I think there's one or two guys that are catching them pretty good on it, but most guys aren't catching a lot of deep crankfish right now. Most of the fish are coming on some type of dragon bait. Other guys are throwing the big worms still, throwing big ribbon tail worms, big straight tail worms, Texas rig, shaky head, all in between. So big worm bite is still happening a little bit. It faded on me. They got on that wobblehead bite, and I rolled with it pretty much. Aaron that just got here said he's been watching our videos all day prepping, dude. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. John Hodson said, is there a top water bite in the morning? I wouldn't know. You know, I had that top water deal going for a little while, and then I had a couple mornings in a row where, you know, I had seen it start to dwindle, right? Like the fish started getting smaller in size and fewer in numbers, and then I had 2 mornings in a row where I didn't get a bite on top water, and I haven't gone back since because what I found is I could just go offshore early. I'm going straight to 15 to 20 foot of water at 6:05. As soon as I get to my first spot, 6:15, however long my run is, when I get to my first spot, we're going to 15, 20 foot of water right away. And even if it's slow for the first 15 to 30 minutes, I'd rather sit out there and wait on that school to build up around me and then take advantage of them than try to run and gun and miss a school of fish that I could have been catching. All right. If anybody's got any more questions, drop them in there. I'll be happy to answer them for you. As always, that guitar's pretty sick, ain't it? Here, check out this guitar. I can't believe I ain't got comments about the guitar. Maybe I just missed them early in the chat. Look at that thing, dude. Freaking Tornilla? I don't know what that means. That may be, you guitar guys may know something about that. But pretty awesome guitar donated by Whiskey Myers. Like I said, whole band autographed it, as you can see. I still can't play it, but it's a real guitar. It's real. Like you can get it, you can play it if you want to, or you can do what I would probably do with it, hang it on my wall because it looks cool and it's autographed by Whiskey Myers. Big Perm is a Smash Tech bait, correct? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Jason, I'm gonna love this question right here. Jason, I can't pronounce your last name, Jason. He says, any luck on a Ned rig? Bubba, I'll fish Lake Fork. We got stained water. We got giant bass that eat big bait year round. I never throw a Ned rig, dude. Never. I just don't really. I'm not a finesse guy. I'm not a finesse guy just by the way I am anyway, even when I need to be. And on Lake Fork, you don't really have to do that to get by. You can stick to your guns on the power fishing and the bigger baits and stuff like that and get it done. How's the grass with the lake being low? Has it affected the grass? Yeah, the grass is, I mean, there's some grass here and there. From what I've seen a little bit. Heard other guys talk about a little bit here, a little bit there. Nothing that is significant enough to hold fish in the summertime. Nothing that's deep enough or big enough growth to hold any amount of fish in the summertime. So don't even be thinking. For me, I ain't thinking about nothing but offshore fishing. That's all I'm doing. Am I still targeting creek channels? I'm not targeting creek channels. Now, I do like it when I get a point or a hump or something like that that has a creek channel swing up next to it. I love that right now. Steep drops are good. Hard spots with steep drops nearby them are basically what I'm focusing on. Anywhere I can find hard spots with steep drop-offs near them, that can be the side of a point, that can be a hump, that can be a pond dam, a road bed. It can be all of those different things, but I'm basically looking for hard spots with steep drop-offs next to them. Any more drama from the pros from fork turning? No. I mean, if there has been, I haven't paid attention to any of it. I guess I've ignored it successfully if there has been. No, once that event's over, I think all those guys move on. They don't care. And it wasn't all the pros. I mean, I literally had some of those guys reach out to me and say, dude, you didn't do anything wrong. Keep doing what you do. Don't worry about it. So it wasn't like every Elite Series guy thought that I was a piece of trash and did something wrong. There was plenty that thought that those that were complaining about it were acting like whiny little girls. I will say that. And, that's the reality. All those guys aren't going to think the same way. All those guys aren't going to get along, to be honest with you. They really don't. In fact, there's quite a bit of divisiveness between individuals where, they're all competing at the top level. So there's going to be some animosity at times between guys. They all do a great job of getting along. I know that. But, for general purposes, but when it really comes down to it, there's some of them don't like each other. They don't agree with things, and certainly not all of them agreed with apparently Lee's stance on the video that I did. And, of course, Matt Robertson and I guess Jacob Porosnik were just backing up Lee's stance on that video, but they're not all going to agree with that. Blake Crutchers has heard the news. Sorry to hear. I don't know what news you're talking about. If you're talking about some of the nonsense that's going on with me at Lake Fork lately, man, don't worry about it. Don't be sorry for it. It's freaking ridiculous, and it ain't nothing like it's being made out to be, and it'll all come out in the end. I ain't worried about it. You guys shouldn't be either. He said he was hoping for a good frog bite when he came to Lake Fork. Yeah, that's not this year, Bubba. Lake being low and lake just dropping now. If the lake's probably going to stay low till at least next spring. And if it doesn't fill up next spring, then new grass will grow. Like new shoreline vegetation, new underwater aquatic vegetation will grow in the fall, and it'll grow in the spring. And so we'll have some of that next year. And then, of course, when the lake rises back up, it'll all start over again. And if the lake rises back up next spring, then, it'll start over again. But when the lake rises back up, it's going to flood a bunch of shoreline growth that's grown up on the old lake bed. I mean, we've got tons of it already. So when the lake does start to fill back up, we will have tons of shoreline vegetation and flooded junk and vegetation of different kinds. When it first fills back up, it'll be immediately available, and the fish will get in it immediately. Rising water causes fish to go shallow. and they will find an abundance of cover up there. And so, yes, we will have that bite back next year. Blake Crutcher, you don't want to say because, yeah, I'm assuming since you work with 6 Sense, you're talking about the 6 Sense deal, dude. Don't worry about that. Again, don't feel sorry for me. I ain't worried about it. I promise you that ain't gonna do nothing but open bigger doors for me. I've already got some stuff in the works, man. I'm not worried about that at all. Is it better to fish first thing in the morning or late in the day if you had to pick? Well, I'm only doing the first thing in the morning deal. I'm not doing the late in the day deal that some guys are. You know, I live a little ways away from the lake. It's just not practical for me to try to do that. To do the split trips that a lot of guys do. I don't have anywhere to really hang out for 4 hours or 5 hours in the middle of the day up there at the lake. So I don't do those split trips that some guys do. I'm hearing that the evening bite's pretty good, but I don't think that the morning bite or the evening bite, I think they're kind of the same. I mean, we're catching them good in the morning. So for me, I'm going in the morning, catching all I can then, and then wrapping the trip up afterwards. So that's what I'm doing. I'm taking advantage of the morning bite. How long does it take for grass to grow from your experience, and is that a good opportunity to try more shallow fishing? Like underwater vegetation, hydrilla coontail, man, it takes a while. It takes a little while for that to go. I mean, once it starts growing, it'll grow fast, you know. But when you have a situation like this, it's gonna, like, we'll start to see some of it in the fall start growing, and when they're up shallow, you'll be able to catch some in the fall. Will we get enough to where they'll hold in it all winter? Maybe. I kind of doubt it. But then after next spring, it'll grow again, and I think by the end of next spring, yeah, if the lake holds its current level. Now, everything changes when the lake level changes dramatically. You know, if we start growing grass right now, and then the lake jumps up 6 foot in a couple weeks because of some big rains, well, then all that grass is in 6 foot of water is going to die, and you got to start over again. But you've got new flooded cover at that point that's grown up while the lake was down. So it's, you know, it's going to take a while before we have established, unless the lake stays at the level it's at right now. If the lake stays at the level it's at right now for a couple of years, we'll have some hydrilla and coontail to fish next summer. If it doesn't, if it moves next spring, which I think we all kind of hope it does, I kind of wish it would stay low for a few years, actually. I think that'd be great in the long term. But if it changes next year again and goes back up, then that will knock some of that new growth out and kill it, and we'll have to start over again in the same process. It'll be another year probably. You reckon a football jig, shaky head, and Carolina rig for the week would produce? Yeah, absolutely. But my best bait, like I said earlier, guys, my best bait is the wobble head, swing head, biffle head. It's that old pivoting football head deal with that swinging hook behind it. And just throwing that little brown colored crawl bait on it. You can throw green pumpkin if you want to, probably. This brown one's been the best for me. But the old biffle head has been the best bait for me. For sure the last week or two. Any night fishing updates for Cody? I haven't talked to Cody about what he's been doing on night fishing trips. I'm sure the night fishing's, especially last week, I think we had the full moon last week, is probably really good last week. Probably really good last week. All right, guys, I'm not seeing any more questions coming in, man. I appreciate you guys joining us as always. Thank you so much. Please do join us for our annual charity tournament, 22 Kill Benefit. It'll be a great time. Thank you guys as always, and we will see you next time right here on your Lake Fork Guide. Cheers, y'all.